Hi and welcome back to the channel. So you may have seen that there is two new versions of MPCs out. The Key 37 and the MPC 1 are now Gen 2. As you can see, they've gone back to some nicer colours because not everybody was a fan of the red 37 Key, I have to say. So they've kind of gone back to the more traditional stone colour, I suppose you could call it. And the MPC 1 is now this kind of nice blue. So it's the kind of same spec for both of them. So I'm going to look at the MPC Key 37 because obviously that's the one that I use. And I did have the MPC Key 61. I'll go over the kind of difference between those. That has been discontinued for some strange and unknown reason. And I sold mine because I just don't have room to keep all these 61 key keyboards. And then when the MPC editions came out from Native Instruments, I got the 37 so I could review all of those. So let's have a quick look at it and see. It doesn't really tell you an awful lot about the main specs on this, so I'm going to switch over to Anderton's. So basically they haven't added anything new. It's exactly the same externally. So everything that's in Gen 2 is all under the hood. So they're not actually mentioning all the new specs until we get down to about here, and then it says it's got a new 8-core processor. So it was quad-core before, so it's now 8-core. You can now run more plugins. It has USB-C, up to 24 tracks, 32 channels of expanded MIDI. So I'll switch over to Anderton's and then it's got a better review. So you can see that it is 850 quid, which is a lot. That has gone up a lot since the original one. This gives you a better idea of what you're getting. So it still has the same 7-inch touchscreen, which is brilliant. So powered by the next gen J2 8-core processor, the MPC Key 37 offers 4 times the processing power, enabling faster project loading, support for up to 32 plugin instances, 16 audio tracks, and advanced production features. So it has 4GB RAM and a 64GB of internal. So that's double. So it was 2GB and 32GB. So that is certainly better. But you can still put in an SD card as well. So yeah, so they've also expanded the connectivity, so it includes USB-C, audio streaming, MIDI integration, and Ableton project compatibility, making it easier to incorporate MPC 37 into any studio or performance. Yeah, so that gives you the full kind of specs there, so you can see that it is an improvement. But to be honest, why didn't it have 4GB of RAM in the first place? So because if you look at the specs of the 61, that's what that had. So the 61 Key had 4GB of RAM, had 32GB of internal storage, but you did get 13GB of pre-installed content. So you don't get an awful lot of software with the 37s, but the 61, you got all the Fabric Excel, Studio Strings, loads and loads of more software. So it was actually worth paying the extra. This has an SSD. I had a 500GB SSD in mine. Yeah, I mean, and if you look at, there's the original specs. So it had, like I said, 2GB RAM, 32GB internal, and a quad core. And it is quite slow, depending on the instrument. So Native Instruments ones are a bit slower, particularly Analog Dreams. That seems to be quite slow at loading the presets. And to be honest, it was still a bit slow on the 61. So even with 4GB of RAM, that sometimes struggled as well, depending on how many instruments you had. So you can get a used 61 for round about the same, sort of 800 quid. If you can get one, because there's just not that many for sale now because it got discontinued. People are keeping a hold of them. So yeah, so you could get a used one, and the only difference is really the processor. You've got 4GB of RAM, you've got extra storage, better controls as well. So if we have a look at the 61, so yeah, so you can see you get more controls. You get this kind of other touch strip here, which you can apply to lots of different effects. And it's a nicer key bed. I wish I'd kept a hold of it now, to be honest, but it's just a space, just not the space for it all. So they haven't mentioned that there's a major update for MPC hardware. It's at 3.9, and they've added in an absolute ton of stuff, including oscillators and wavetables. I only really came across it because a guy was reviewing this Gen 2 and he was talking about it, but I didn't even read anything about it. If we go to the release notes for 3.9, it's 13 pages, so there's quite a lot to it. So they've added in new arrange mode tools, so you can cut, copy, paste, and duplicate. If we scroll down, you can see there's loads of advanced edit features. There's insert clip pros, there's arrange mode for the desktop as well. we get to page 5, it has got MPC oscillators. So on a drum or key group track, open track edit, and then you navigate to the samples tab, and then from sample to oscillator using the sample oscillator radio button. So there's extra content as well that you can download. So you do that first really, and then from the GUI you click the oscillator button to access the parameters. So I'm going to obviously show this on a separate video, but yeah, there's all the basic waveforms you get. So you've got sine, saw, square, digital saw, pulse, and then the waveforms of noise, FM2, RM3, and algorithmic. You've got single cycle and wavetable. So you've got digital saw, pulse, noise, FM2, so you can shape and tone these. You've got precision and fuzz. So you've got all this going on. And then wavetables, you've got position and crossfade, feedback shape. So you can put in your own content as well. So, and these are obviously the device specific to the new Gen 2 ones as well. So it does support version 1, and like I said, I'm going to show you it in a separate video. So anyway, so thanks for watching. Quite a major update for MPCs. I do like the look of it. It is better than the red one, but it is pretty expensive. So thanks for watching, and as usual, if you have enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, share and comment, and I will see you in the next one.